Do you know which is the most deadly mental illness in the world? It is eating disorders. Anorexia, bulimia, binge eating. Worldwide, there are more than 70 million people affected by eating disorders. Yes, I just said 70. This is the equivalent of the population of Austria, Hungary, Belgium, the Netherlands, Portugal, and more. Only half of them get completely healed. And in 17% of the cases, the illness leads to death. This means that 1 out of 6 affected people dies due to organ damage, heart failure, or suicide. And this is what makes eating disorders the most deadly mental illness in the world. One of these 70 million people was me. So today I want to tell you the story, my story, of an eating disorder from the inside. I was anorexic. I was almost half of what you see of me right now here today. Before everything started, I was a young 17-year-old girl attending high school, and I had my life sorted out. I had excellent results at school. I had good friends. I was socially involved in a cultural organization, and I enjoyed my hobbies, writing poetry and traveling. Everything was perfect, but it wasn't perfect. I didn't want people to say, "Hey, do you know Ekaterina, the smart girl, the chubby one with the brown hair?" No. I wanted them to say, "Hey, do you know Ekaterina, this kind of smart girl, the beautiful one with the brown hair?" Who doesn't want to hear that? I believed that this could only happen if I looked like the girls in the magazines. I wanted to have a thigh gap, the gap between your thighs. I wanted my hip bones to be seen. I wanted my collarbone to stick out. Basically, I wanted to be very skinny. And since I'm a doer, I decided to lose some weight. And I told myself, from today on, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week and eat more vegetables. I guess we all know these kind of sentences, right? And at the beginning, it worked out pretty well. I lost weight, I felt better, I got compliments by others, but I wanted more. The compliments felt like a drug to me. I wanted even more compliments. So I said, I'm gonna go to the gym every day and eat only vegetables. I started avoiding social events where I knew that there would be food included. And if I had to, I lied that I had already eaten so that I didn't have to eat in front of other people. So basically, every day I came up with new and inventive ideas how to cut down my calories and increase my exercising. Soon, the sentence had changed to, I'm gonna go to the gym 3 times a day and stop eating anything. Being skinny had become an obsession. It gave me the feeling of power and control over my body. And starvation triggered my endorphins. But at the same time, I felt extremely guilty whenever I would allow myself to eat normally. And I felt completely exhausted because of exercising like crazy and not eating enough. And I was afraid that the minute I put some weight on, I won't be loved by my friends or respected by my peers. So I just kept going. My friends and family were concerned, of course. They wanted to talk to me. They wanted to know what's wrong and how they can help. But at this point, I didn't see any problem. I just thought, I know what I'm doing. I am completely healthy. And you guys are just jealous because of how strong I am and because of the way I look. A year and a half later, I found myself in a hospital because I was strongly underweight. My body was so weak that I had to receive nutrition through a tube in my arm. I had a doctor around me almost 24/7, and I realized that if I keep going like this, I could be dead in a couple of months. I wish I hadn't started. I wish someone could open my head and rewire everything back to normal. And the only thing I could think of, the only question I could ask myself was, why me? I only wanted to feel a little bit more beautiful. I only wanted to get a bit more respect. Why did it have to end up like this? The way back was not easy. It was hard and long. And I started therapy. I had to find a way back to my body. I had to reconnect with my true feelings. And I had to realize that being perfect is an illusion. So I met my therapist once a week. I met my doctor once a week. And after a couple of months of work, when I was already slowly on the way out, this question changed. And for the first time, I asked myself, why not me? I remember, as I then said to my mother, but rather to myself, if I ever manage to get out of this nightmare, I want to do something for others so they don't have to experience the same. A couple of years later, after I had recovered from anorexia, I decided to act. During my therapy, I had to keep a food journal. It means that I have papers like these, and every day I had to write down what I ate, where, with whom, how I felt about it, what my thoughts were, and then I talked it through with my therapist. For example, if I was able to eat a sandwich without feeling guilty or without being afraid. And keeping a food journal may sound like a small thing to do. I thought so at the beginning, but it has a huge impact on the therapy process because it helps you to find out patterns in the behavior, to realize what are difficult situations, why are they difficult for me, and how can I cope with them. Unfortunately, this is also a point where a lot of people give up because there is no easy and practical way to write this information down if you have to carry these papers with you the whole time. I mean, you can easily forget them at home, and they're not very discreet, so everyone knows what you're doing if you just put them on the table. I started using my phone for that because I always had it with me. It was discreet. People could also think that I'm writing a text message, and I can show the information to my therapist. And this helped me a lot to not give up and continue. And this was only by using the notes function on my phone. So this is when I started Jourvie, a project to support people with eating disorders during their therapy through an app on their phone. The goal is to create an efficient assistant to the recovery process. And I'm not alone on this journey. There is a team of people who do this, and they don't get paid a penny for that. They do it because they believe in our shared vision. And our vision is to support other young boys and girls, other women and men who face the same challenge. To support them on their way back to their bodies, back to their feelings, back to a healthy life and a healthy body image. And don't get me wrong, this is still going to be probably the biggest challenge in their entire life. I know that. And no eating disorder can be healed by an app. But if we manage to make it at least a little bit easier, then it's worth trying. Because this is what this journey has taught me. I was looking for love and acceptance. And I wasn't healed when I was able to eat a sandwich or two. But when I realized that no eating disorder and no addiction and no obsession can ever give you the love, respect, and value you deserve. The way from asking myself, why me, to asking myself, why not me, was long. But trust me, it was worth every single step of it. This is what happens when you want your talk to be perfect, because at the end, you lose your point. But this is what this journey has taught me. And I realized that what I used to call a nightmare was actually a challenge. It was a journey. It was just that life brought me on a journey to the verge of death to teach me that I have to live my life to the fullest, like we all should do. That we should accept ourselves, love ourselves, and enjoy every minute of being ourselves. And after being on this journey, now I want to help others on their way on the same journey. Thank you.